Thank you, Maureen, and thank you everybody for joining us for our community forum today. We do these every 2 weeks at this time, so stay tuned at that time for our next one, and we'll say a little bit more about that at the end. But first, just a little bit about what the Mustard Seed Project does. Our mission is to support seniors, and the heart of our mission is helping seniors age safely in place in their homes and in our community. And so we provide a whole variety of programs. My apologies, my dogs are playing in the background here, that help with that, including transportation, meal deliveries, classes at the Crandall Center in Key Center, and yard care cleanup, which is a big deal for seniors. We're getting that program started up now this spring, and we run that through the summer. And we're also building right now under construction assisted living and memory care homes in Key Center. And those will open this fall, probably November or December. And we'll have 30 studio apartments there. So that'll help give seniors on the Key Peninsula who need supportive care a choice to stay in the community as opposed to having to go somewhere else. So we're really excited about that. But today we have Laurel Schultz with us. She's with Communities and Schools. She's their program director. And their mission is to surround students with a community of support, empowering them to stay in school and achieve in life, which is a really wonderful mission. And I'm looking forward to hearing about it. Laurel, take it away.
Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate that great introduction. I will start by saying I've been fortunate enough to serve as program director for the last 16 years, and our main office is located here on the Key Peninsula, and we have a satellite office on the Gig Harbor Peninsula. So my message today is really about community and about how we can support our young people. And traditionally, the Key Peninsula has done a wonderful job of bringing partners and community together to support our young ones and to support people of all ages, as you heard about the great opportunities with the Mustard Seed. So Communities and Schools of Peninsula actually started in the year 2000. And the great thing about Communities and Schools, as I said, it's all about relationships and keeping our investment in our community solid and ongoing. So our leader, Bill Milliken, who started our organization about 45 years ago, his famous line is, "Programs don't change kids, relationships do." And that's what we're all about. So a little bit about who we are as an organization. We are an accredited affiliate. We're a national organization. So we have been expanding ever since our early growth period of starting with Bill Milliken in New York 45 years ago, and we've expanded across the entire country. So Communities and Schools Peninsula incorporated in the year 2000. And we started at Vaughan with one volunteer in a portable, and we've expanded from there. So a little bit about our funding. We are a 501(c)(3), so we are a nonprofit, and we have a very diverse portfolio. Thank you, Maureen, for my share screen support. I really appreciate that. So as I was saying, Bill Milliken started this program 45 years ago, and his main reason for starting it was that he was not successful in school himself. And so he really wanted to offer up supports for kids like himself that didn't feel challenged at school or didn't succeed in school. And so he started the whole organization with a team of volunteers that spread westward and is now across the country. So a little bit about who we are. We're accredited because we've gone through a variety of accreditation procedures that our state office has set up. And Communities and Schools of Peninsula incorporated and started at Vaughan Elementary with one portable and one volunteer in the year 2000. So we've now expanded and have a main office here at the Red Barn Youth Center on the Key Peninsula, and we have a satellite office in Gig Harbor. And so it's been wonderful to see the growth. So we've expanded to all of the schools on the Key Peninsula and now serve schools on the Gig Harbor Peninsula. In terms of our 501(c)(3) status, we're a nonprofit, so we have a lot of community supporters, and I've shown you our recent budget because we've grown tremendously in the last 22 years. And this is a breakout of how we're funded. So you can see we have a diversified portfolio. We're funded by foundations, other grantors. We have support from Peninsula School District. We have a reserve fund. Thankfully, we're looking at sustainability with that. And then I listed our top partners. We really rely heavily on our partners and our relationships. So we work with Peninsula School District, Pierce County Human Services, heavily with food backpacks for kids, one of our most tremendous local partners, making sure that food insecure children have the food they need to succeed. Kiwanis, which has been remarkable. They have an online clothing option that our site coordinators can access and actually ask for really wonderful, not just clothes that fit, but clothes that are stylish and phenomenal. And then Children's Home Society, we've partnered with them for many, many years. Where we serve, I mentioned the Key Peninsula. So we expanded from Vaughn Elementary and serve now all of the schools on the Key Peninsula. And we've hired 8 full-time site coordinators that actually work inside of the schools. So we are a partner with Peninsula School District, but we are a separate 501(c)(3), and we get asked often if we are part of the district, we're a partner with, and I just wanted to emphasize that. So we've now expanded to Harbor Heights Elementary on the Gig Harbor Peninsula. We serve Goodman Middle School. As of January, we hired a full-time site coordinator at Goodman. And we also serve Henderson Bay High School and Peninsula High School. This has been a really deliberative focus for us and our program committee because we wanted to make sure that we had sustained programming all the way through a child's elementary, middle, and high school career. We wanted to make sure that if a child had access to one of our site coordinators or services at elementary level, that they would have an opportunity to receive some help all along the journey. So we know that sometimes family situations can stabilize, children's academics can stabilize, and then things might change. So we've wanted to put that security net or that safety net out in a very sustained, deliberative pattern so that children always have access. That's been a big emphasis for communities and schools of Peninsula. And another aspect of this is equity. So thinking about access to services, access to a great education, we want to make sure that all kids have access and that we are adapting our strategies to meet the needs of kids. So I think that's one of the best things about having that national organization. We have a statewide network, and then we also work here locally with our local partners to make sure that our programs are adapting and that we're actually serving kids where and when they need it the most. So a little bit about the children. These are updated numbers. So as we all know, COVID really changed things. We had to adapt our strategies as school went to online or hybrid, with some children staying at home to learn, some children going back into the school buildings. So our numbers shifted quite a bit, but our site coordinators were always working. We never took a break, we never stopped, we continued our momentum. And so we are currently serving 200 plus case managed services or offering services in a case managed fashion. So to talk about what case managed is, that's when a site coordinator will go into a school, they have an office, they get to meet students and faculty and parents, and they determine which students will really benefit from having a concrete individualized plan. That's really what case management is all about. It's the development of a plan. And that plan can range anywhere from supporting a student with reading and math to supporting that student with reading and math, and maybe finding out that the family has food needs. Then we would call in our partner Food Backpacks for Kids, or maybe they need access to more resources. So then we look to Children's Home Society for utility help, for example. So we're constantly working to meet the needs of kids literally and figuratively where they are, and that's in school settings. That's why the in communities and schools is capitalized. It's not a typo. It's because we're bringing services in the community in. We typically serve on average 10% of the school population at each of the schools that we work in. So that number, if a school is larger than say 1,000 students, that number goes to 5%, because we're thinking about our staff person that is trying to build that caseload. And we know that each individual site coordinator builds that caseload based on needs. So it's all about making sure that we have the capacity to do the very best job for any given child that's enrolled in our programs. So we've served over 3,500 students with whole school services. So that is an opportunity or something that's offered like an assembly to every student in the school. So just recently, we provided a taproot theater experience to Evergreen Elementary. And that was a week-long series of online learning that was well received down at Evergreen Elementary. And I think that's the silver lining of technology and all of us going into adapting. It was wonderful to bring, we used to bring taproot, and we will again in person, but it was nice to have that online opportunity for children. And they learned about big emotions and what to do with big emotions, which during this pandemic and recovering from the pandemic, we can all benefit from that. The next number might be staggering for some of you. Nearly 20% of our students are homeless at some point in their school year. And that can range from those children or youth that are unhoused completely, or those that are couch surfing. So our site coordinators build rapport and relationship with students and then work to figure out whether it's a need for housing, whether they need admittance to the care homes that are now on the Key Peninsula, or whether mom or custodial adult just might need a little financial leg up in order to stabilize their living situation. 80% of the kids we serve are low income. That number has been consistent in the last 16 years that I've worked for communities and schools of Peninsula. And I would say that has been a factor for admittance into our programs. It's not the only factor when we take referrals, but it's definitely a factor. And a high percentage of our children and young people right now are presenting with mental health needs. And I really see that as an aspect of the pandemic and actually increased needs across the board, whether it's for housing security, food security, or other forms of security. So first of all, I want to draw your attention to this wonderful young man who attends Vaughn Elementary and his happy smile. He is celebrating the fact that he just got eyeglasses from one of our partners, Violet Seas, and he got to choose the frames, blue, his favorite color. And the backstory on this young man is that he was so excited about his new glasses that he sang all the way back to Vaughn Elementary about them to his site coordinator. And then the cool thing is we get together as a team bi-weekly, and our site coordinators were chatting, and the Key Peninsula Middle School site coordinator heard this story about the cute song and about how happy he was about his glasses. And she said, you know, I think his older sister might need glasses too. I'm going to have a talk with her about it. And recently she just had an appointment and got a new pair of glasses. So it's really that community focus, that conversation, that making sure that we are meeting the needs of students as they come up. And we do that in partnership with so many wonderful people. So just a little bit about what we do. Integrated student supports means that our site coordinators are trained to watch out for what the needs of kids in schools are. So when they do a needs assessment, they are looking at all of the categories. They're looking at whether they need basic needs, if they need referrals to outside providers, like with the vision, with getting some glasses. If they need social emotional support, this is amped up quite a bit. And our site coordinators have been creating kind clubs, recess clubs, daily check-ins. I think it really needs to be expressed over and over again that the social emotional support is really key and foundational to kids succeeding with their academics. And it's really huge in terms of keeping kids invested in their academics or going along into school. School climate, I mentioned Taproot Theater. We coordinated that at Evergreen Elementary just recently and also at Harbor Heights Elementary. And I think that's excellent. That's making sure that kids are aware of big feelings and what to do with those big feelings. And some of the feedback from the schools is that some children then went to their school counselors and talked about some of the things that they were worried about. That's tremendous. That really leads to greater, educational outcomes across the board. We are known for our academic support. So Communities and Schools of Peninsula has had mentoring programs for the last 16 years. And that's where trained volunteers come in and work with kids one-on-one for a school year. It can be as little as 1 hour a week. And that boosts academics with literacy, with math. We've now expanded and support AVID, which is up at the high school, and it stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, which is a really cool, long tagline for a really great program where volunteers go in and support high school students by leading them in their own journey of learning. And the coolest thing about that is that kids see themselves as college worthy or able to go out and pursue jobs that they might not have even thought of before. That's really cool. Tutors with Tails has expanded as well. And that's a wonderful program where therapy dogs are brought into the schools and they're non-judgmental listeners when kids read to them. It's so great to have dog teams going in and they support kids emotionally. It's wonderful if a child is struggling with their reading to be able to read to the dog and their human, and then also just pet the dog and interact. It's wonderful. We run summer programs and partner to do those summer programs that helps keep kids connected over summer to their learning. College and career readiness, we've expanded in that. Taking kids to college field trips is tremendous. They can actually see the campus. They can actually interact and see themselves in those spaces. Sometimes it's job shadow days and kids getting out in the community and learning what really the job entails. Because sometimes they might have an idea about a job, but not really know some of the aspects of it that are really critical. So I think that is really great. It's all about opening up opportunities. And more we've expanded into parent engagement. So last year we supported 204 parents. We're supporting more parents as stressors happen. We have trained some staff with positive parenting classes. There are providers on the Key Peninsula that offer Triple P, which is another parenting class, and that's awesome as well. We do clothing swaps so that moms and dads can come in and get really nice clothing. Maybe they have job interviews themselves and would benefit from some nice clothing. I love staying on this because his smile is awesome. So I've mentioned partners quite a few times. We can't do the work we do alone. We have been so fortunate to build remarkable partners that we help bring in. And you are looking at one of our volunteers, and this is at Minter Elementary. So they are reading with a young student there. Comprehensive Life Resources has helped us tremendously with students experiencing anxiety, depression, and so on. So they have counselors that are in the schools, and our site coordinators work with them directly. Our Pet Partners International, we've got the pet right there, and the happy bean bag so that they can snuggle and enjoy their reading time together. Harbor Christian Center has helped us tremendously when we have needed it with basic needs or just as another outreach so that we have another referral source that we can reach to our faith-based community, both on the Key Peninsula and the Gig Harbor Peninsula. Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, their outreach folks have dropped off test kits for us. They've kept us in the loop when we're communicating with our families and their children about vaccinations. They've provided us with multilingual supports. We have a growing Latinx community on the Key Peninsula, and Tacoma Pierce County Health Department has been phenomenal in getting us the information that we need to help support our parents and our kids. Starbucks Kimball Pioneer, that has been a brand new partnership. It's just been tremendous because not only did they help us with holiday help and donated toys and the most phenomenal things at holiday time, but we're also exploring a more sustainable partnership where the manager is willing to work with some of our high school students so that they can learn application skills, how to interview, how to go through the process of getting a job, all of these wonderful life skills. And it's through our network, our community, and it's just tremendous. And I did mention Violet Seas earlier when we looked at the little guy from Vaughn Elementary who has his stylish new glasses. The coolest thing I want to mention about our partners as well is that they are so respectful of the people we serve. It's not just that the child gets an eye exam and a pair of glasses, it's that the child gets to choose stylish frames. And for any of us that remember childhood or what it felt like to be in middle school or high school, it's an extra wonderful factor to have whatever is considered stylish. It is just amazing. It really, I love it. I just wanted to say thank you to all of our partners, all of our potential partners that are listening or on this Zoom today. It's phenomenal. Here are some numbers from the 2021 school year. So I mentioned academic and non-academic needs and how we build a plan. So it's all about making sure that we're meeting the needs of kids and what they specifically need to stay on track to graduate and to be successful. So last year, in the midst of all of the upheaval, these are our outcomes. 8 out of 10 kids improved their behavior. 9 out of 10 made academic gains. And 10 out of 10, or 100%, improved their college career readiness. And I see this as one of the most hopeful things of all time, that in the midst of all of the difficulty, this is how kids were responding when they felt cared for. This is how kids were responding when they knew someone really cared about their success. That's the beauty of relationships. And I think that is one of the most hopeful things we can take forward out of what we've all experienced is where do we go from here? We leverage these positives out of what we've all experienced. We all adapt and learn and grow. And we can all be a part of this cool energy. So here are some of the volunteer opportunities with communities and schools of Peninsula. We have after-school reading and math programs. We are working to put together our summer programming for 2022 right now. We have AVID tutors at the high school. I mentioned that stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. Those times vary, and if you're nervous about high school, I understand. Some of us get worried about, being a content expert. The cool thing about this program is that you go into a classroom and you work with kids in a classroom with a classroom teacher. And you do receive training, but it's not an expectation to be a content expert. You just have to be a wonderful, caring adult. And what I've seen over time is that the students actually show the adults what they're learning. And in doing so, that strengthens their own learning. And then adults are included. So you're included in the learning process and it helps everyone. And sometimes it's just a matter of asking them a couple of questions. And you might honestly not know the answers, but you find the answers together. And when you walk alongside someone in their learning, it is powerful. Interact Club, that is in conjunction with Rotary. We are supported by all of our Rotary clubs, service clubs of all stripes, actually. And the Henderson Bay High School Interact Club has been phenomenally successful in giving back to the community. So often the students will put together ideas on how they can support the local community. They've done water drives, they've done clothing drives. They have gone out as volunteer shoppers to help shop for other teens that have needs or wants. For those of us that don't know what's stylish right now for teenagers, it's great to talk to the youth themselves and find that out. And we also are doing some small group math mentoring at Minter Creek Elementary. So there's opportunities for the volunteers to come in. We have gotten the go-ahead with Peninsula School District. We are offering up masks for those people that would really prefer to wear them. We offer all of our volunteers K95 masks. And we also have a certain requirement for distance. When you're working with the little one, we require a little bit of distance just for the safety of the volunteer and the child. You're not seeing that big distance as you look at this picture with the dog and the young child. So the dogs get a pass on that. They often go a little closer to the kids. So this young boy is actually from Evergreen Elementary, and this is the outfit he selected from one of our clothing swaps. And you'll notice that he selected a tie. He was really excited to dress up and have a button-down shirt and a tie, and that smile really says it all. He got to select. It's all about that respect and the choice and how much fun he had putting that outfit together. I've listed here our administrative team. So if you are interested in volunteering with us, you can call 253-884-5733. There are 4 of us there: Colleen, our executive director, myself, and Micah. Her name is spelled M-Y-K-A, and she is our volunteer coordinator. And Julie is our development director. And you can reach all 4 of us at that same number. It's 253-884-5733. And at this point, I'd love to welcome any questions any of you might have.
Thank you. Thank you, Laurel. That was a lot of really excellent information and fun stuff. It makes me think, as we get closer to opening our assisted living homes, that we need to talk about how to collaborate and, get some intergenerational things happening there, because I think there's a lot of possibilities there. And I love the Tutors with Tails program. I love that name. And we definitely are planning to use service animals in the assisted living memory care homes, especially the memory care home as well for older folks, because of course, dogs are really beneficial for them too. So I'm just thinking about all the possibilities. So Maureen, do we have questions from Facebook for Laurel? Oh, you went, there you go.
Yeah, I muted myself instead of unmuting. We do have a question. You talked a little bit about your site coordinators identifying children with needs. How do they do that? Is that a referral from a parent or a friend, a referral from a teacher or a counselor, or are they just looking at the children and talking to the children? How does that work?
That's an excellent question. And actually, it's a combination of all of that. So usually what happens with a referral is that referral can come from a school principal, a teacher, a counselor. It can happen just, as you said, with a site coordinator noticing needs with a student and reaching out. They all have offices in the schools. And then what I'm really happy about at the secondary level is that many of the students self-refer. So if they've experienced success with one of our site coordinators or a program at elementary level, for example, say they get up to middle school, Keep Peninsula Middle School, and they are struggling with something, they will reach out to our site coordinator themselves. And then at the high school level, they also at times will self-refer. And what I love about that is it tells me that we're really meeting the needs of young people in a very holistic way, but also that they value it themselves. So all of our programs, everything is voluntary. So, students that come to us and their parents want them to be involved, we do have that happen, but it's trickier, it's harder, because sometimes the student themselves doesn't see a need. And I'll share with you one of the little guys from Minter Creek one time. He was enrolled in our reading program and I was visiting. And as I was talking to the volunteers and talking to the children, he leaned over and he said to me, you know, I honestly don't know why I'm in this program, because I am really amazing. And I leaned down and I said, you know, I feel that you are really amazing. And I hope that by the next time I visit, you'll tell me some of the cool things that you've learned in this program, because I can see right now how amazing you are. And so it's all about boosting self-confidence, but really with pragmatism, right?
Mhm.
He saw himself as amazing and he needed some boosts in his reading skills. But the fact that he had so much self-confidence, that's amazing. That's tremendous. And so it's really matching up your self-concept with your actual skills so that you can progress and get to the next grade level, or you can progress and graduate out of elementary school, middle school, high school, and so on. So it's hope with pragmatism, I guess. And I think that referral process, what I'm happy about is that someone doesn't think, oh, I have to be doing this. I have to be in this program. I would want everyone to feel like it's a get to. I'm so excited. So we provide really rockin' snacks. We have really kind volunteers that come in, and they're just another wonderful human being that tells a kid you matter. Like I said, you would, all volunteers get training, but the biggest skill set you can have to be involved in our programs is just to be a kind human being. That's really it. It's a great question.
Do you partner with trade schools and other vocational organizations, or are you mostly aiming to get children ready for college?
Actually, it's a combination of both, because a lot of the students that we work with are not choosing jobs that need a college degree. There are a lot of high-paying jobs out there right now, and it's just getting kids habituated to looking into them. So if they've never explored like welding, for example, which is a great job, underwater welding pays tremendously, for example, if you certify and dive. It's access. It's all about access to opportunities and just widening the scope, which is why field trips have been so beneficial. Kids can go on a field trip and see jobs that they would have never thought of for themselves. If you take students to visit a zoo and they get to talk to some of the biologists or some of the groundskeepers, or, you know, I'm interested in animals, what else can I do, kind of a thing. And that's where another way volunteers from the community can be so beneficial, because sometimes their lived experience is in some really cool things and that didn't require a college degree at all. And they can share that with students. And it's wonderful.
And then finally, or maybe not finally, but if someone wants to volunteer with you, but doesn't necessarily want to go into the schools and interact one-on-one, are there opportunities that they can volunteer for?
Excellent, Maureen. Yes, more and more actually, because as we are back opening up after the pandemic, we have events that are coming up where we could always use some support, you know, whether it was setting up for an event with just all of the materials that would go on top of the table. Like we will be at the Livable Community Fair, May 7th. And, you know, there's some setup that goes along with that. And it would be awesome to have some volunteer support in that. Or as we set up in the summertime, possibly expanding or supporting one of our partners with food backpacks for kids, right? Bringing the lunches out to the Gateway Park, or, you know, and that's, we see this as when you partner with us or one of our partner agencies, that we're supporting our whole community. We're working in tandem all together. If a volunteer comes in and does work with students in the schools, then the protocols that need to be followed are they have to fill out an application. We have to call their references. They have to clear through the Washington State Patrol. They have to go through some training because it is a trusted position working one-on-one with a student inside of a school building. So there's a little bit of extra protocol that we follow with that. But we've had volunteers in the past that have come out and helped us with maintaining the Red Barn Youth Center. There was a point where a team came from Chapel Hill and just took out a bunch of blackberries so we could access our front door. And, you know, that was years ago. Now it's really quite beautiful. But that was such a gift to us to actually be able to get in instead of stepping through all the blackberries. So yes, there are opportunities. Thank you.
That's all the questions I see for the moment.
Wonderful.
Well, great. And if people think of questions later, thank you for sharing your contact information here. We've got that still on the screen. And Maureen will be posting this recording as well in the next couple of days, right?
Right.
How do people find that?
This will be on our YouTube channel, and you can just search for the Mustard Seed Project of Key Peninsula on YouTube. And of course, if you subscribe to our channel, then you will get notified every time we have new content. And that's really the easiest way to find all the great things we have on there.
Great. Well, Laurel, thank you. It was really great hearing about the good work you're doing, and let's keep in touch because I really would love to collaborate more with you. For everybody who's been a fan of these community forums, the next in 2 weeks, our next guest will be from Two Waters Arts Alliance, which should be another really interesting presentation. You do lots of good work as well. So thank you again, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Laurel.
Take care.